Hey friends, I'm so glad you could join me. I'm Mr. Mark, and we have our Bible drill lesson this week. This is week 4. We're going to be working on our First Chronicles 16:8 verse, and I have a game for you. So you can see all of these items on the table. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to stare at them and see if you can remember all 20 items. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, I'm going to start putting them up. See if when I get them all put up, you have to begin writing down or just saying what all was on the table that you remember. I gave you a couple of things there at the end. Can you name them all? Let's see if you can name all 20. Count with your fingers. How many things do you remember? Okay. Keep going. All right. Okay. Yes, keep going. How many is that? You couldn't remember all 20 of them? What? Your memory, it wasn't strong enough to remember all 20 things? Matter of fact, I usually, whenever my wife asks me to go to the store and she says, okay, I want you to get some milk and some coffee creamer. It's like, okay, I can remember milk and coffee creamer. She said, and by the way, we need to also have some tortillas. Okay, milk, coffee creamer, tortillas. Like, I'll picture them in my mind. I can do this. A drive over to the store, milk, coffee creamer. What was the other one? Oh, what was that third one? I can ever remember. I get so confused. It's like more than 3 things. It's impossible. And so if you're remembering quite a few things that are here, you did really get better than Mr. Mark, that's for sure. I want to say that I have to write that down. I just have to. Or I have to ask her to text me the list. So when I get there, I'll know what I'm going after. Sometimes I even have her send me a picture of what it is because I can't remember exactly what it looks like that she's asking for. Well, we have to come up with ways to help us remember things. So I want to ask you about remembering things as well. So whenever we're working on our Bible verses, it's true that our memory can fail us. Have you ever forgot something like your mom's birthday? That's bad, isn't it? Yeah, if you forget your mom's birthday. Or have you ever forgotten your homework? Like you got to school and forgot to bring it? Man, doesn't it make you panic? It makes you worry because you got to get that turned in. What about, have you ever forgot to brush your teeth? You forgot right now. You needed to go brush your teeth, right? And so we have to remember these things. How about if you forgot to take out the trash? Did you get in trouble? Yeah, because you were supposed to do it. That's just the way it goes. I know one time my daughter forgot her backpack at home, and it had everything. It had her coat, it had her lunch, it had her homework. She forgot a lot of stuff, and she was calling from the school office to say, can you drive home and get my backpack and bring it to me? I forgot it. Do you know how happy that made me? Not happy at all, not even a little. So we have to work on our memory and thinking about where and what we need to do. Matter of fact, even this morning on my way to the church, I got a phone call that my daughter locked her keys in her car at the gas station because she forgot to take them out when she got out. And I had to go and help her. I didn't mind helping her, but we have to work on our memory. And so practicing our Bible verses and stuff help us to remember. And our Bible verse is about that today. The thing that I want you to know is that God never forgets. God never forgets. God always remembers. And he made covenants with his people and promises that he made. A covenant is a promise that he has never broken. And he won't, because God doesn't forget. He always remembers. Matter of fact, sometimes we make choices that it looks like we forgot God because we weren't obeying him. We weren't following him completely. People see our actions and think, oh, that's what a person who follows God acts like or does, their actions. So we have to be careful, because even by our actions, we are telling other people about our commitment to God. So let's be careful with what we're saying and what we're doing. God never forgets. So let me just play this game with you. See if you can remember who these three people are in the Bible that God made a covenant with. All right, here we go. Just say their name when you think you know who it is, and I'll ask in the end too. So I was a good man who obeyed God, but I lived in a time when most people were evil. God warned me that he was going to destroy the earth because of man's wickedness, but my family and I would be spared. I wonder if you've thought who it was. God told me to build a big boat, ark, and gave me specific instructions on its size and how it should look on the inside as well as the outside. I followed God's instructions down to the last detail, and the flood came, but my family was safe inside the ark. After spending nearly 1 year on the ark, the first thing I did when we left it was to worship God. God made a covenant with me and gave me a special sign to remind me of the promise. Who am I? That's right, it's Noah. Noah. And so Noah spent all that time on that boat, that ark. And so when he got off, he was given the covenant that God would not destroy the earth by a flood again. And he gave him a sign for that. Do you remember what the sign was? Yeah, it was the rainbow. And so that's how he would know. We would all know. And we see it even today, that we know that God would not destroy the earth that way. Okay, so you did good on that one. This one might be a little more difficult. Let's see if you can do this one. I was the father of the Israelite nation. God promised me that he would make me the father of a great nation. He said kings would come from my descendants, from my family, and that he would give the land of Canaan to them forever. But the problem was, I was almost 100 years old. And my wife was also very old, and we had no children. God kept his promise when our son Isaac was born in our old age. Isaac became the father of Jacob, and God changed Jacob's name to become, his name is Israel. Isn't that interesting? Jacob's name was changed to Israel and gave him 12 sons. He brought them to the land that he had promised to me and my grandsons and their families. But the problem is they didn't always obey God, but God was faithful to keep his promises to my family. Who am I? This one's harder, isn't it? Oh, did you say Abraham? That's right. Abraham is right. And so God did make that covenant with him that he would make him a great nation. And he did. And that nation's called Israel. And do you know that that is still a place on our map called Israel? Isn't that neat? Okay, here's the last one. See if you can guess this one. It's about a boy. Here we go. God chose me to be a king when I was still a young boy tending my father's sheep in Bethlehem. Many years later, I was crowned the second king of Israel. I composed many songs of praise to express my love for God. I did not always obey God, but I asked for his forgiveness whenever I sinned. God made an everlasting covenant with me that he would establish my family to rule his people forever. Who am I? Did you know this one? David. That's right. Very good. And so we find in the books of Psalms some of those psalms those praises that he wrote, and even in our Bible verse today, we learn that he put together in 1 Chronicles 16:8, our Bible verse that we're learning today. The Bible verse is, "Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds among the peoples." 1 Chronicles 16:8. So here it is on the sticks. And I want to encourage you at home to do this as well. Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds. Uh-oh, I've got some blank ones here. Oh, I'm going to have to finish this verse. What part's missing? Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds among the peoples. Among the peoples. Isn't that funny that he said peoples? So let me get a pen and write it on there. We need the words among the peoples to be on there. So, among the peoples. You're going to have to remember that there's an S on that. The peoples. It's a funny way to say it, isn't it? All right. So that's what it looks like. You can use the sticks in your at-home kit to do this as well, or even on strips of paper. So give thanks to the Lord. Each one of these are like important things to do. Give thanks to the Lord. Call on his name. Do we use a phone to call God? No, we just speak with his name. Dear Lord, I pray, Father, that you will hear my prayer. I mean, whatever you want, you call on his name. Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds, all the ways that he is faithful to you and to me, among the peoples, to all the people all around us. 1 Chronicles 16:8. So this can be a puzzle. You can mix it up, put it back together, and when you're ready to work on this verse every day, just turn it over like this, and you can simply take some tape and tape it on the back so that it stays together. Put a piece of ribbon or yarn where you can hang it up, and you can display it in your room or hang it on your doorknob. And that way you'll be able to practice your verse. Matter of fact, ask your mom if she wants to hang it from the rearview mirror for 1 week. And y'all can all learn it this week as you're practicing your verse. So try it with me one more time. Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds among the peoples. 1 Chronicles 16:8. Hey, there's another really great craft or two that are coming up. I want you to enjoy these as well, and I'll see you next week.
Hi, Bible Drillers. Today we're going to make a craft I think you're really going to like. It's a spiral spinner. And it's going to help us remember our verse for this week, which is 1 Chronicles 16:8. Let's say it together. Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds among the peoples. 1 Chronicles 16:8. So we're going to make a spinner, and then we're going to write our verse on it. So I have a spinner here that I've already started, but in your Bible drill kit, you'll have a spinner, just a blank one, and it'll have some lines, some dotted lines. You can just cut that out, and then once you get it cut out, I want you to color in the spiral. And I've almost finished with this one. I'll just finish it up right here. I like to use colored pencils when I do things like this because you can get a nice ombre effect. I wanted mine to kind of spiral out different colors. Okay, so color yours in and then write the words of the verse on the white line that goes between the spirals. So let's write that in so we can practice it. Like for everybody to write their verse on the craft because that helps us to remember it. So give thanks to the Lord. So our verse tells us to do three things. The first one is give thanks to the Lord, call on his name. How do we call on his name? That's just prayer, right? Call on his name. Proclaim. That's a word we don't use very much, but that just simply means to tell everyone. So proclaim his, God's, right? Proclaim his deeds. Deeds are just the things that he has done. Proclaim his deeds among the peoples. It feels funny to put the S on there, but that's the way our verse is, so we're going to include it. So, give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds among the peoples. And it's found where? 1 Chronicles. Now, we have to remember, Chronicles, that's in the Old Testament. It's one of the books of history. The books of history, all of the books that have a 1 and 2 in the Old Testament, a first and a second, they're all found in the books of history. So 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, and then 1st and 2nd Chronicles. So our verse is in 1st Chronicles. And it's chapter 16, and it's verse 8. So 1 Chronicles 16:8. Now, what's the book in the New Testament that we sometimes get mixed up with Chronicles? Corinthians, right? Because in the New Testament, we've got 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, but Chronicles is the Old Testament. So 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. Okay, once you have yours done, I want you to take your jack. The jack should be in your Bible drill kit. And you're going to put it through the little X that your leader or your mom or dad has put in the spinner. So put it in and then maybe put a little piece of tape just to kind of help it stay on there. Because we are going to do a challenge with it. Now that we've got it made, I'm going to use this one that I made earlier. It's all taped up. The challenge is, can you say the whole verse before your spiral stops spinning? So the first challenge for me is, do I know the verse? And the next challenge is, can I get a good enough spin that I can say the whole thing? So let's practice the verse. Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds among the peoples. 1 Chronicles 16:8. So I'm going to spin mine and see if I can get it all said. Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, proclaim his deeds among the peoples. I got everything but 1 Chronicles 16:8. I bet you can do it already. See you next time.